Now look at this.
What's up, people? Penguins here with topic 7.3 on artificial selection. So what is artificial selection? Artificial selection is where humans have interacted and humans have decided which traits are favorable and which traits are not favorable. And so humans have specifically bred certain organisms for their specific traits that they have. So dogs. Dogs have been bred for specific traits. So they all came from the wolf. And so, for example, like the collie's job is to kind of for search and rescue. The Dachshund is to flush out small rodents in terms of like hunting. And the bulldog was actually meant to protect the butcher, to keep some livestock in check and kind of keep everything in order. Another example is the wild mustard. So you see here we have the wild mustard and you have all these different vegetables that's come out of it. The cauliflower, the broccoli, the cabbage, and the kale, all selected by different characteristics of that wild mustard. Also, we need to talk about convergent evolution. So convergent evolution has to do with that organisms are going to have the same trait, not because they're related by common descent, but because they have a similar environment. So my favorite example is the sugar glider and the flying squirrel. So the sugar glider is a marsupial, off in Australia, and the flying squirrel is a placental from North America. Both of these are going to have these big extensions underneath their arms that allows them to jump out of a tree and then glide through the air. But they're not related. That's a marsupial, that's placental, completely different descent. Another example, echolocation. Whales and bats both use echolocation, but they're not related to each other. So it all comes down to having a similar solution to a similar problem. Evolution is going to select for those favorable traits. And so if a mutation takes place in both of these different species, then that trait is going to be selected for, and thus we're going to see the same trait in multiple different species, even if they're not related. AP Penguins just says, bye.